How's it going, YouTubers? Cornwolf here. Thank you for joining me for another video today. And today we've got the top 10 tips and tricks for Witcher 3 for you all. Just before we get into that, just want to speak a little bit about the game for anybody that doesn't know what it is. It's a fantastic RPG game, obviously, and it's although it is the third of the series, you don't have to have played the other ones as such to be able to enjoy this one. I haven't. I've got the other ones and I've not really played them or hardly played them at all, so I don't know anything about the story. But you don't have to know that to be able to enjoy this game. This game is fantastic. They've recently announced that in 2 weeks I think they've sold 4 million copies, and it is a very good achievement. It's also had one of the lowest budgets of recent times for a AAA title. I think the budget alone was only 15 million compared to stuff like Destiny, which had about 200 million budget. But the game is really good. The weather physics in it, when you're running along in your horse and there's a bit of a storm coming in and the trees are all bending and different things like that, and just all the different side quests, and just there's so much that's gone into this game to make it really, really good. So do check it out. If you're unsure, hopefully my tips and tricks and the footage that you're going to see here is going to help you. And if you do already have the game, I hope these tips and tricks do help you. So that's enough from me, because this video is going to be fairly long with having 10 different tips. And what I'm going to do, down below in the description, I'm just going to put a little time note where you can click to go to various tips if there's something there you prefer, or if you're doing a bit, watching this, doing a bit and coming back, so then at least you can click through it. So I'll leave you there. I hope you enjoy these tips and tricks and some of the new little bits that I've added to my videos. I'm trying to always up my game, and I shall see you all soon. Tip number 1 is Horseback. Now everyone loves riding on Roach and fighting, and you may have noticed that when you've been running around that you can also use your sword whilst on Roach. But what you probably might not know is that you can actually make those sweet decapitations so much better. So if you get out your sword here, if you press and hold the button, you notice he holds his sword out and then he'll swing. So rather than tapping it and he just swings like a crazy man, you can actually press and hold. And I'm going to approach some enemies in a minute. You're going to see that it'll actually go into slow-mo and I let go, and it just makes it that little bit easier. It's still fairly hard to do it. I struggle a little bit at the minute getting the timing right for it, but if I approach these enemies up here, so I'm just going to go up to them, press and hold, and it goes into slow-mo. There we go, I love him. And him. Oh, missed him. You can just wield it around a little bit once they're in sight. So he's running. Let's try and take his head off. Come on. Oh, nearly. There you go. He got blood. He got blood. Come on. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. So you just press and hold it, and it just makes it that little bit easier rather than swinging like a crazy man. There we go. Boom. Headshot. And it just whips them heads off. And it makes it so much easier to do that. I have took a little bit of damage. It does take a little bit of time, but it is one of probably the best tips I've got for you. Tip number 2 is Alchemy. So you've really got to know your stuff here. It's not an essential part of the game, but I do think it'll really help you, especially in the early levels, to get to grips with the game. And there is a few power-ups that you can use. And I will quickly explain those for you now. So if we press the menu button here, go across to Alchemy, and you've got all your different things. So you've got your alchemy substances, big long list there, alcohol, bombs, decoctions, a bit further down you've got your oils and potions, and then there's West one as well. So basically, what you need to do is when you're making them, just make sure that when you're running around, there'll be little leaves on the map. So I'll show you here. Look, there's a little leaf in the top right hand corner there of the map, which is this plant here. Pick it up. And my tip to you is, although you can use your horse to go everywhere and everywhere quite quick and fast, sometimes it's better just going on foot, especially if you've not got a large distance to travel, just so you get all your herbs that you need. And once you've done that, one of these will turn green. You just click on it, it will use those materials and craft them for you, which is excellent. But once you've made it, that's it. You only have to make it once, which I'll explain to you in tip 3, getting a little ahead of myself there. But what you need to learn here is the fact that the oils and different things will help you later on in the game. So I'm not going to go into too much detail just here, because there are further tips on which we're going to cover. But just make sure that whenever you can make them, you make them. Because once you've done it, that's it. You can tick it off the list. So that's there. I've already made this item. So once you've made it, you've made it. And a lot of these come in handy further on in the game. You don't have to go for an alchemy spec to get this, but it is going to help you later on, like I said. Tip 3. This follows on directly on from the alchemy part of it, and that is meditation. So what you need to do, you need to make sure that you meditate as often as you can. It's always handy if you know that you're going to somewhere that's going to have an enemy. You're going to have a bit of almost like a boss fight, or something's going to happen. Just make sure you meditate beforehand. So if I just quickly there we go. So throw my bombs about. That hurts a bit. Oh, so I'll have a quick drink from that. There we go. So as you can see on the bottom left hand corner there, I've run out of all my grape shots and my swallow, which is my healing potions that I've got right now. So if I press the start button, menu button, whatever you want to call it, go to meditation, and you only have to meditate. You can meditate like for a whole 24 hours if you want to, but you can just do it in increments of 1. So if I just meditate for 1 hour there, and then you see in the bottom left it says it's used some alcohol. So as long as you've got alcohol in your inventory, it will use the hello, there's someone down there. Let's go. So it used the alcohol, and it's also replenished the 2 things that I had equipped, but it will also replenish everything. So make sure that you do, rather than thinking how do I get these things, make sure that you do meditate, which then will replenish your stock of your healing potions, anything you've used there, and it's a really good way just to make sure that you keep stocked up and that you're ready for your next fight. Tip number 4 is notice boards. So make sure that you go to all the notice boards in an area you're in. I'm not too sure what that woman was doing then. You walked into me, you silly bitch. But make sure you go to them when you first get to a new area. This is a bit of a spoiler alert, because I'm going to show you my map as it is right now. But if I zoom out, you'll see loads and loads and loads of question marks all over the shot. And these notice boards, which are white, will actually be yellow. So if you try and travel to them, and then it'll fill out some of these points of interest, different contracts and different things like that. And it's always worth getting them, just so if you're struggling to get to a certain level, or you want to boost up your leveling up, then you can pick up these quests. And all you do is go up to a notice board, and then you just select them, and they'll add it to your inventory. And then once you've done that, if you press back to the menu, go across to quests, and obviously you've got your main quest there, you've got your secondary quests, which is where this will fill up, and then which are contracts. So sometimes you get the treasure hunting ones as well. So it's always worth doing, because you'll get money from them, you'll get items from them, you'll find new points of interest, you'll find chests that may have some useful things in them, coins, all sorts of stuff. So it's really worth doing them. It'll help you level up, and it'll also help you in the long run in this game. Tip 5 is beastry. So you really need to know your enemies in this game if you're going to get the upper hand and hopefully kick some ass. So if you go into the menu again, and if we go across to the glossary, and you've got beastry there, if you click on that, it will bring up a long list of all the different monsters and creatures and enemies that you're going to come across in this game. Now, obviously you're not going to get them all straight away, so sometimes you may go to fight something, especially in the early stages of the game, and you don't really know what it is, how to fight it, or anything like that. But you will gain this experience. Once you've fought it once, you'll understand a little bit more about it. And also books. So make sure you read in those books that you pick up in your inventory. They're not just fancy things that you need to physically read. If you click on it, sometimes there's something within there that will tell you how to fight a vampire or some hybrid or something like that, and it will tell you its weaknesses. So let's just go into one here. Let's go into hybrid. Let's go into the griffin, which is one of the first things you fight. And as you can see there, it tells you a little bit about it, and if you just push right, it'll tell you that it's vulnerable against grape shot, which is a bomb you can make. If you have a hybrid oil, which again you can make, and the arid sign. So basically, if you make a hybrid oil, you can apply that to your weapon, and it will give you X amount of boost or attack power against that creature or whatever it is you're fighting. Obviously, the bombs are fairly self-explanatory. And arid. So it's just good to know what is weak against those enemies. One thing to watch out for is you can't apply your oils once you start a battle. So if you're not aware that you're going to be fighting something, unfortunately it's a tough shit scenario and you can't apply that. However, if you are prepared and you know you're going to be fighting something, or you've been in the middle of a quest, something's killed you, it won't save the bestiary in there, but if you do already have that in your book here, then you can apply that before the next fight. If you did catch you off guard. When you apply the oils, if I go into my inventory, you go across once into usable items, and what you do is you just select it, and down there at the bottom it says 10% attack power versus Ogrins, I think that was, Spectres, Necromages, Elementa, and all different things like that. And then what you do is you just click it, it'll automatically pick the right weapon, press it again, and it adds it just like that. So just make sure you are aware of that. Make sure you've got the right sign up and running. Let's just check something else. A wolf. So that's just beast oil. There we go. That bear doesn't like Quen, so it won't affect your armor as much. So just make sure that you've got the right sign selected, just so you've got the upper hand and you're ready to go. Tip number 6 is know your signs, and basically if you press and hold the left bumper, L1, whatever it is on the PlayStation, and whatever controller you're using on the PC, you can bring up your wheel of goodness, and obviously the top 5 are your signs, and basically you've just got to know what they do and how to use them. And the main one I want to tell you about is Yarding, which is the magic trap. So basically if we launch that now, put that down, and you see these points, the yarding points it puts on like a circle around you, and basically, unfortunately at the minute I can't find any witches to go and fight, or any spirits, but basically if you get them in this zone, it depowers them so you can attack them a lot better inside that circle. So you can pop that down, try and lure them in, dodge out the way, different things, and get them inside that circle. Once they're inside that circle, you can take them down very quick. And obviously it's worth knowing that you can upgrade these as well as you progress through various levels, and also you have your other abilities. So you've got Quen, which is a shield, so that'll give you a little shield, so if someone hits you, you'll hear it ping off, and it'll allow you to take one hit, maybe more depending on how much you've upgraded that, and that'll last I think it's about 20-30 seconds, or until you're hit. So that's a nice one to have if you're fighting something that doesn't necessarily have a weakness. Igni is probably the one that you use the most, which is fire. That has many uses, as well as burning people. If you see any wasps' nests about, you can set them on fire and you get the honey out of them, which is really nice, and it sells for a fair few coin as well. There's Axie, which you can influence people's minds, and the good thing is about this one as well, if I just jump on Roach here, if he's got a bit of fear in him, you can actually put Axie on and press it, and you see how his head's gone white there with a spell around it, and that means that I've put him on an Axie spell, and if he's got a bit of fear, it'll calm him down for a short period of time, which is really helpful. It's also very helpful if you want to barter with people and try and influence people to give you a bit more information. It's nice to have Axie on, so you can influence them there. And then finally you've got Arid, which is a Technoblast. So it's like force push. You can use that to push enemies away. So if you're in quite a hefty battle, especially with humans, you can push them away and knock them to the ground. Depending on how powerful it is, depends on how far you knock them and how long they stay down for. And it'll also allow you to then finish them off and stab them. It's also used for smashing down doors and different things like that, and blowing stuff out of the way. So it's also worth noting, if you can't get into somewhere, you might be able to use this and blow the door off, just like Michael Caine. So that is knowing your... Tip number 7, and this is probably going to be one of the most exciting ones for anyone that's struggling to get a little bit of cash in this game, is money. Now if you look where I am, I'm outside of a bank, and I am in the northeast part of Novigrad as you can get. Let's just zoom out. So I'm in the main city, and I'm right near, what did that say? Hierarch Square, I think that is. And there's a guy just here. It's actually classed as a shopkeeper, but he's actually a banker, not a wanker. So if you just go into inventory, and what you'll notice is you'll pick up in the end bit, in the other, you'll pick up these random currencies. So I've got florins, so I've got 300 of them, as well, 100, although it says 300 at the bottom. And I've got 82 orins. And it does say you can take them to these banks, and what you can do is, if we go and speak to the little dwarf in here, look for this this coin. It's the only one that I've seen on the map completely. Go and speak to this fellow.
How can I be of service?
You can be of service at all, because what you can do is you can say, I'd like to convert some currency.
I'd like to convert into crowns.
And what he's going to do is going to convert what you've picked up into crowns, as he just said. And he's just going to give you a little bit of a waffle of shit. And then I've just made 382 crowns, just from random currencies that you pick up in various different locations and various different quests. Sometimes you'll get something random and you're a bit like, well, what the hell can I use this for? And it's actually worthy, because it's kind of like it's getting a foreign currency and getting a really good exchange rate for it. So it will make you plenty of money throughout the time. So just make sure that you save up enough, go there, and if you're running a bit short, it's nice to know that you've got that kind of loan there ready and waiting. So I really hope this one helped you guys. It really helped me when I found this one out, and it would just make buying those extra little goodies, extra little diagrams really easy. So tip number 8 here for you guys is crafting. As you're going through the game, you're going to pick up diagrams and different things, and make sure that you'll pick up items so you can craft. So you might have to dismantle a few things. Blacksmiths, so the guys that have got a picture of an anvil, will be able to help create you weapons. Sometimes do a little bit of armour as well. And then you've got weaponsmiths who specialise in the weapons. So if I just see this guy here, have a quick conversation. I'll skip some of it if I can. He's just going to spout some crap.
Show me your wares.
So if I go across here, go to crafting, I've got some crafting components. If I go down to the bottom, and it can actually make me some weapons. If you look on the right, if the damage goes up, that's a bonus. So there I can make a level 27, what's that, a scroll sword or something like that. And it is amazing, but I can't use it till I'm level 27. But if there was something here that was better than what I currently have equipped, then I definitely want to create that. So again, I've got Harpy Silver Sword. Can't make that yet, but it gives me plus 303. So it's worth just checking. If you think you've picked something up, you run over there, you check it out, and you make sure that you've got that built. So here I've got a Silver Sword. I've got enough leather straps there, and I've got enough silver, and I can make a silver disclair silver sword, and all you do is just press A. It does cost you a little bit, 45 coins, and I've made myself an awesome little sword there. If you haven't got the items, what you can do is see if you can craft them further up here, and if there's a few bits that you need, you can also go across to dismantle, see what you've got in your inventory, dismantle it, and it'll give you some lovely bits there. So just make sure that you do pick up some really nice items in this game from diagrams. So make sure that you have those equipped, not equipped, make sure you know what they are. If you see you've picked up the diagram, just run over to a couple of the guys, maybe use a quick fast travel just to see what it is you've got, or next time you're there, and create it. Tip number 9 here is to use dodge rather than roll, so that's the D. And what you'll notice is you need your stamina to keep up and use your signs. There you go, give them a bit of fire. And what you'll notice is you can actually get on your quick attack a lot quicker than what you can if you use roll. Roll's quite good if you need to get out of the way quick, but it uses your stamina, and that's not good. So what you need to do is you can time it just right as well, when a tree's not glitching in my face. And what you can do is when he comes to lunge, you dodge out the way. Come on, come get some. So you see that? There we go. Look, chopped him in half. Quick dodge out the way. So I'm using the B button there. Archers are a little bit different because they're a pain in the arse. But oh, look at that, sweet. So what you need to do, rather than using A, you use the B button, dodges out the way, and then it allows you to get on the quick attack. If you time it just right, you can dodge left, right, forward, back, and if you move their attacks, you can quickly attack them and get the up on them, and sometimes get their back quickly as well. So make sure you use that rather than rolling. So you keep your stamina up, and you can gain the advantage over those pesky enemies. My final tip number 10 for you all, just while I'm trundling off back to a village here, is just take your time with the game. The game is massive, and I wouldn't rush through it if I were you. You might be tempted to rush through it, but you won't really get anywhere and you won't experience everything. This game has some of the best side quests I've ever experienced in a game. What you can actually do in the game, and just the different things that happen in the game, in the side quests, and just some of the comic value, and just some of the extras you get from doing some of the side quests. It's just so worth doing. So just make sure that you take your time with the game, you don't rush it, because if you do rush it and you're not high enough level to do some of the things that you've rushed to, you're going to suffer and you're going to get your ass kicked. So just make sure you take your time with the game, you enjoy it, you take as much from it as you can. Try and get all those side quests done, because A, it'll help you with the level, and B, it'll also help you just enjoy that game so much more. Some of the fantastic comments, quips and different things that some of the AI players in this game have, and the personalities I've got, is just fantastic. So just make sure you get as much out of this game as you physically can. I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Really hope you learned something. Really hope I've helped you get a bit more out of the game, maybe pick up a few little tips that you've not already seen out and about, or just wasn't sure how to use them. So don't forget to give this a thumbs up. It really does help me with my channel, and I thank you all for your support, and until next time, guys, I shall see you all on the next video. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it and learned something throughout this video. I just want to make you all aware that down below in the comment section there is a link to Amazon. There's various links there that you can click on, depending on whether you're in the US, UK, Canada, various places like that. And if you do any purchasing through that link, it will knock a few pounds, shillings, dinero, dollars, cents, whatever, back to the channel, just to help support me there. You have to do nothing other than click on the link. It doesn't add any extra to the fees, it doesn't add anything extra at all, other than the fact that it's recognised that you've done it through that link, and whatever you buy, it'll just knock a few pence here and there back to my channel. So really appreciate it if you do use that. It'll go straight to Witcher, but then you can search whatever you want in there. If you do want to buy Witcher, fantastic. Bang that in your cart and check that bitch out. So thank you very much. See you all soon.